Well, April Phillips, this should be fun because I don't really know you and we're kind of winging it. I know probably a year ago now, TJ Beers said you'd be someone who'd be good to have on, and kind of tried to line something up before, but I wasn't doing virtual then, so it didn't work. And now here we are. So all I really know is you breakaway rope. So yeah, if you just want to jump into it, where you grew up and how you got into stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm happy to be here. Glad TJ referred me. Thanks, TJ. I'm from Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania. Grew up in Mill Hall, Pennsylvania. Do not have a rodeo background. My family doesn't ride. My grandparents, my dad's parents rode, and my grandmother had to have her knees replaced. So when that happened, I took over her horse at the ripe age of 2 years old and never looked back. I didn't start rodeoing until I was 12. I started up in the Keystone Junior Rodeo Association, and then moved into the high school rodeo for my junior and senior year. I was scooped up by Coach Mason out of Missouri Valley for a rodeo scholarship. I rodeoed in Missouri my freshman year of college and was absolutely terrified of tornadoes. So decided to skip my way over to Texas. I enjoyed Texas, but I never college rodeoed after my freshman year because my credits didn't transfer. So I actually started riding cutting horses for people. And then rodeoed, just amateur rodeoed on the side, rode a lot of colts for people, really enjoyed that, and kind of transformed from being a barrel racer to primarily breakaway roping. The breakaway roping it hasn't been big. It just kind of exploded overnight because it was a junior rodeo, high school rodeo, college rodeo, and then you were done. Some amateurs, but not many. So even when I was going to college, and this is going to age me, but when I went to school, it was 2006, 2007. So I graduated in 2006, and there weren't many amateur rodeos that had breakaway. And so now, with it being at the professional level, and then also adding equal monies, it's given us an opportunity to travel, and I'm seizing the opportunity, and I'm traveling. So I bought my WPRA permit a week ago last year, went to my first 2 pro rodeos and filled my permit at those 2 rodeos in Georgia and Florida. So I went to Nashville, Georgia, went to Ocala, Florida, I think ended up second there, and that filled my permit. So I purchased my extended permit for WPRA and just rodeoed, got my feet wet, and checked out different circuits. So I went to the Southeastern Circuit, and that's where I filled the permit. And then I went on to First Frontier through the summer and enjoyed those rodeos, kind of understood a little bit more of how pro rodeos worked versus the amateur rodeos. And so now where I'm at today, I'm in South Georgia, right on the Florida line. And I had been to several pro rodeos. I bought my card, but I claimed First Frontier Circuit because all of the rodeos are around home, and they have a better finals than any other circuit for pro rodeo. They've got 4 rounds and more money added than any other circuit finals. So I thought that would be a great rookie year for me, is to just come here, get my horses seasoned, tuned, excited about coming home for the full season of First Frontier. But
Gotcha.
so this is where we are now.
Yeah.
From beaches, the sandy beaches, to the sandy arenas.
Yeah. If you don't mind explaining more of like the permit stuff and then getting your card and all that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really realize this, but you're the first actual pro rodeo athlete I guess I've talked to. Like everyone else has been, they do the AMI stuff still. So
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't. All rodeos are great. They really are. But since I got here, I came here end of January, and I had not entered an amateur rodeo until Friday. And they treat you. I don't want to talk down about amateur rodeos at all. I really don't, because there's a lot of good money at the amateur rodeos. But as a breakaway roper, and from what I've seen and what I've felt, is you are treated so differently, and it is run so differently, professional rodeo versus amateur rodeos. And that's just, I don't know about like the other end of it, but I know that being a breakaway roper, it's great. It's really, really good. You feel there's a different kind of a presence when you show up. It's very professionally run for, the majority of these rodeos that I've been to. And that doesn't mean that they're all like that, but it's definitely a better feel. You show up and things are set appropriately, and it's run well. Now, as for like the permit and the card holder part of it, it is so different. WPRA and PRCA are totally different. Yes, we're competing at the same rodeo, but entries are different, rules are different, everything's different. So if I say something in regards to my WPRA permit or card, it doesn't mean that that is appropriate for PRCA for the guys side of it. But it is definitely interesting. So to purchase your permit, you buy a permit, and I believe I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but just say it's like $500 to buy your permit. Okay? You buy your permit, that allows you the opportunity to enter rodeos that allow permit holders to enter. So you enter as many rodeos as you want, but you've got to win $1,000 before you can buy either your extended permit or your pro rodeo card. So when you do that, it's again another $500 to purchase your extended permit or your card. Now, last year I purchased the extended permit because I didn't want to use my rookie status last year because I didn't really know what I was learning, and I don't even know how I filled my permit at the first two rodeos I entered. Like, that's just kind of unheard of. All my friends were like, what do you mean you filled it? Like, and so I was the girl that was all the time on the phone with the WPRA office in Colorado, like, hey, I did this and this and this. What do I do now? Or, there's so much to learn. And the coolest thing about it is the difference that I see for the pro rodeos is like the entering system. You can have your phone number set up. They will text you when books open and when books close. So whereas like the amateur rodeos, you have to be on top of your game. And you've got to be looking at the pages. You've got to be writing it in the calendar. You have to have reminders set. Whereas the pro rodeos, you don't. And so there's trades lists then that pop up. Once they do the entries, the books are right there. They show you what's what. It's run very well. And this year's the first year that they ended up merging somehow PRCA. When you go to enter, it's complicated, but it is run well. But PRCA, when I enter, I don't have a PRCA login, but it takes me to the PRCA trades list. So it's pretty cool. It's complicated, but once you get the hang of it, you're good. It's basically with anything new. But as for the breakaway roping, there's more money added. Oh, my light just went out. Oh my gosh, hold on. That was kind of scary. Hold on. I think my light died. There you go. That's probably not very good. The basically the breakaway roping, there's more money added. It runs smoothly, and things just seem to go very differently than the amateur rodeos. So, do you have any specific questions per se for pro rodeo versus amateur rodeos?
I don't think so. Something might come to me at some point, but if we go back a little bit, so you started riding when you were 2, but then growing up, like, how did that all look? Were you just, fun riding or going to fun shows and then eventually got into the junior high rodeo stuff?
Yeah. So my grandparents, they trail rode. We had 1,000 acres that we would just free roam, and we just rode all the time. And our farrier and his wife, they run barrels. So they saw me ride, and they said, you should really consider bringing her to our house, to our arena, and we'll get her started running barrels. And that's kind of how it started. And I was the barrel racer. And so I run barrels until, I don't even know. It was, I'm not quite sure, but I believe when I was in 11th grade, like beginning of 11th grade, middle of 11th grade, I said, I really want to rope. And everybody around me was team ropers. And so they were like, well, here's a rope. And I picked up a rope and basically was self-taught how to swing a rope because no one really wanted to help me. They were like, yeah, it's fine. And so here I am on a barrel horse swinging a rope, like, figure it out. And so we got through it. I figured it out. And they put me on a horse. Once I showed, that I really wanted to do it, they put me on a horse that knew how to do everything. I didn't know what scoring was. I didn't know what the barrier was. I just knew what the target was and how to swing a rope and get it to the target. And so I believe it was the end of my 11th grade year, I entered my first high school rodeo in the Breakaway, and I'll never forget it. It was I was on a little old roan horse. His name was Roni, of all things, Roni. And someone helped me fix my rope, and we built a loop, put it under my arm, backed in the box, and I was 3-2. I won the high school rodeo. And no one helped me the next day fix my rope. So next day wasn't as successful, but so I won the first breakaway roping I ever entered, and that lit a fire, and that was a lot of fun. And so that kind of pushed me to go on and teach people. And so several of the people that I had taught their first rodeo, they also won. And so we kind of had this sort of this joke going around, like, if you win your first one, you're going to stop running barrels and you'll just start roping full time. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And also very Pennsylvanian, I feel like, of how you get started into horses and then develop to a higher level.
The farrier part, or what do you?
Honestly, all that. Like, just starting out trail riding, and then you meet someone that does this, and they invite you out, and you end up meeting someone else and whatever, and wind up taking it to the next level.
It's such a tight-knit community, any kind of working horse dispositions.
Yeah.
Well, good.
On the topic of horses, for the Breakaway and for your horses, are you, like, starting stuff that you have specifically in mind that you're going to break away on, or are you getting, like, quote-unquote rejects from cutters or cow horse guys or whatever and switching them over and doing that?
So, that's a great question. So all of my horses, I not started myself, but I've basically picked up horses per se that are rejects that nobody wanted. The 2 horses that I've got with me I have one mare. She's a dun mare. She's real small, real thick, very cowbred. I found her on Facebook Marketplace a few years back. And, she's very ornery, and she was definitely a Facebook Marketplace girl. She is bred, highbrow hickory, and I'll be smart on the bottom side. And so she wants to eat a cow. But that didn't really work great in the breakaway because she's so cowy that she'll hesitate at the barrier. So now I say that to say this. I've got another horse that's also a Facebook horse. Both of them I've won, at the pro rodeo level. And the other horse is a gelding. He's an appendix. So he's giant, really not built to do it. I had seasoned him in the barrels and he was doing really well here. Brought him back to Pennsylvania and he couldn't handle the ground. He slipped a couple times and he got in his head that it's going to happen again. So he just braces up. So I converted him last year to the breakaway. He came to me as a coming 3-year-old with 30 inconsistent rides. And so I had him sold as a barrel horse as a 4-year-old, and he cut his leg on a fence, and so I kept him. And oddly enough, he's a little bit sentimental to me. My grandfather, my pap, who got me into horses, he passed away 3 years ago, my first winter coming to Florida. He kept pushing me, like, go to Florida, you gotta go. And very much a homebody and a family-oriented person. And so I didn't want to leave. I left, and I think I was gone a week, and he passed away. And so this horse was kind of special between him and I, because this horse reminded me of one that I had in the past that him and I would always discuss and talk about. He was always my horse guy because we would spend hours together riding and visiting. And so we still, even though he couldn't ride anymore, we still talked about, the horses. And the big sorrel horse, he's like, I think he's going to be something really special. And when he didn't make it as a barrel horse, I kind of thought, well, maybe not. And so got him barrier broke last November. This is no lie. Got him going through a barrier. He got barrier broke easier than the cow horse because he just had that, he's cow bred on the top, running bred on the bottom. He is leaving memories on the bottom, and Bob's Acre Dock on the top. So like old style, like cutting foundation. And so, but he's huge. He's a giant. But he rides like a small horse. So it works out kind of when kind of. But anyway, got him barrier broke, got him going. Once he started paying attention a little bit, my mare, who had been my primary horse last year that I filled my permit on, got really bad allergies and started coughing. And so I was like, well, I've got to put her aside for a little bit and let her rest and heal her lungs because I think she got secondary issues from breathing dust in. And so I got on him and I was here and I said, well, the Kissimmee rodeo is coming up and it's a big pro rodeo. And I was scared to death to ride him. I'm thinking the big Coliseum is going to be really bad. And didn't we go out there and win it? Just like it was nothing. And I'm like, all right. So, all right, Pap, this horse is, worth something. He is good. My little Facebook 30 inconsistent ride, ginormous horse that doesn't look the part, So I think that to answer your question fully, when it comes to these horses and, how I get them and where they go and how I start them, I think more than anything, it depends on their willingness and their heart. I don't think it matters like their start and their foundation. I think it matters, what they're willing to do for you and if they'll fit into a program, because you can't count the big ones out and you can't count the small ones out either. You just have to go with what you have and, you'll know eventually if it's going to work or not. And so far I've been very, very, very lucky to have very willing animals.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that kind of goes into another question I had of just like, what are you looking for in a breakaway horse, honestly? And it sounds like they can be kind of varied, at least size-wise, as long as they want to do the deal. But
so you've got to have something with a lot of speed, but they've got to have the ability to lock in and really pay attention because the rodeos here are really tough. You've got bigger, stronger cattle for the most part, and longer scores because the arenas are bigger. And so if you've got a little horse that doesn't have much run to it, it's going to have a really hard time, or you're going to have a hard time. I mean, it depends on the person's riding and roping abilities. Some people can get by on horses that don't have a lot of run just because their range, they can really reach out and rope. They've got a lot of range. Personally, I like the big, strong horse that I feel like that horse is going to give me some extra punch as I throw my rope and not cut me off. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you followed any of the roping futurity stuff now since it's kind of blown up?
Well, it's kind of blown up, but it's kind of blown up in the Northwest and not really on the East Coast side. And so, maybe in the future, on down the road, when and if I've got specific bloodlines in mind that I'd like to ride, maybe I would get more into that. I watch it a little bit, but, you can't. This is kind of funny because a lot of people will disagree. In my opinion, you can't really ride papers. You can get two horses that are full siblings, and one might be a complete dink and one might be phenomenal. And so, in my opinion, I would rather look at that horse as an individual and go from there. And, there are some really great grade horses out there that we have really no idea how they're bred. So yeah. I don't personally own any, but that's kind of my opinion on it, is there's a lot of money in it, but it doesn't mean that you could spend $50,000 on a 3-year-old and it's going to be super successful versus something that you don't know how it's bred.
Yeah. Yeah, I always think it's interesting, and I don't know how I feel about the debate on papers, because I feel like it does give you an idea of what that horse should kind of be suited towards, at least. But at the same time, there's a mare that we have right now that really is bred to be a barrel horse, and she is wicked cool on a cow.
I believe it.
Is one of the most accurate with her front feet of anything, and can grab a cow and just control it like it's nothing. So I guess that just backs your point.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's inside of them, not necessarily their bloodline.
Yeah. So I guess going from there, what's the future looking like? What's the goals going forward?
Oh, the goals going forward. So I have a clinic coming up in Crystal River, Florida, April 18th. So we're gonna hit a couple of rodeos. I've got a good friend that her and I are gonna go to a few, maybe amateur rodeos. I don't know. And then one more pro rodeo in Davie, Florida. And then we'll do the clinic. It's at a church in Crystal River, and it's going to be a really, really good clinic. We're both going to work together through that. So after the clinic, I'll work some cows with some friends in South Florida, and then debating on whether we're going to spend the month of May in Texas and hit a couple of rodeos in Texas, probably just South Central Texas. My friend Kim would like to go to the Stephenville area and just see if we can rope with those girls still. And then I will spend the summer, since I claimed First Frontier Circuit, I will hit up Kellettville and Gary and go to Maine and hit all the pro rodeos in the First Frontier Circuit, see if we can't keep our horses healthy and going and make circuit finals. And then next October, we'll be able to buy our card again. The season starts in October for pro rodeo season. So that, depending on where we're at, the plan is, and the plan can always change. You know that.
Yep.
Plan can always.
Yeah.
So the plan is buy my card in October and claim the Southeastern Circuit for next year, and just see if we can't just make a couple different circuit finals and get these horses rolling and see what we can do.
Sounds like a good plan.
Nothing grows in your comfort zone. So you gotta step out and go every once in a while so you can grow.
That is very true. So is rodeo your full-time gig?
Yes, no, kind of. So I do a lot of virtual lessons. So I have clientele built up all across the United States, honestly. And we'll do virtual roping lessons, virtual riding lessons. And a lot of that isn't just the riding. It is the horse's diet. It is the horse's health. It is so much more than just, hey, let's do a FaceTime video. We'll set this up and go forward. Or, I'll critique videos. I've got a lot of beginner ropers that they can't put a lot of time and effort into the skill, but they would like to learn kind of at their own pace. And so I kind of started this gig whenever COVID hit, and I had a lot of people that wanted to rope, but we were all kind of at a standstill. And I had qualified for the American, and I thought, I need to stay in shape too, and it's cold. And so to hold myself accountable, I propped up my phone, started recording, and made a private Facebook page on Facebook and a group called the Breakaway Boot Camp, Virtual Breakaway Boot Camp. And I would do videos, and I would do a training video. I would upload it from YouTube, and then people would chime in with their videos, and then we would discuss, the good, the bad, and the ugly on their video, and then we would just keep rolling through the month. And that would be like 2 to 3 videos a week just to keep everybody rolling. And so I kind of moved away from the group and started doing individual, because people had a little bit of, lack of confidence, and they didn't want to put their personal videos in front of others because they felt as if, they were judging themselves. And it was a lot easier to do the one-on-one in their own time, have phone calls, set up a schedule, and it just flows really easily, and they feel like they've got the one-on-one that they really need.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's awesome.
Virtual. I love it.
Yeah. I'm always curious how people find different ways to make all this kind of stuff pencil, because none of it's cheap.
Oh, no.
So, and I feel like rodeo athletes especially can get really creative with ways to keep themselves going down the road, I guess. So, no, that's awesome.
I had to definitely figure out a way, because I felt as if whenever I would pick up and leave to pursue my dreams, that I was letting the people behind that wanted me to pour into them. And I felt very strongly that teaching people how to rope especially has been my calling. And so that's when I feel the most at home and fulfilled, when I'm helping other people learn how to rope or sharpen their skills.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Speaking of being on the road, how's managing all of that?
Being on the road or the lessons?
I was thinking more just on the road, but...
On the road? Well, diesel is like over $5 a gallon right now, so that's expensive for sure. Things happen. You're going to need tires, you're going to need oil changes, you're going to need things. Things are going to happen. And you can get bitter and you can get down about it, or you can just keep moving and pursuing. And so I think that overall, when it comes down to it, whether it's your rig or your horses or your performance, you have got to have the right mindset. and you've got to stay afloat. You've got to keep things in motion. You got to keep moving. And our biggest motto lately with me and my girls is let go and let God, because there's nothing you can do about it. You can only control what you can control. Anything outside of that is not your business. You just have to keep moving. So, yes, I've probably spent $2,500 in the past month in my truck because I had a case fan issue. I had to get tires. I had all kinds of stuff going on. I've been in and out of dealerships. But, at the end of the day, it's just a machine. It's just a truck. And so you just keep moving. And then the rodeos, we had some issues with horses. I had bronchitis when I got down here. For the biggest week of rodeos, I had bronchitis. I gave my horse some medicine that did not go well. Everything was just kind of shaken, but you have to, in a sport where there's so much going on. I think I had one weekend off this whole trip so far. It's just like the truck. If things aren't going right, you just have to keep nodding your head or keep stepping forward, because if you sit in it, you dwell on it, it's just going to get worse. So you just have to keep moving forward and, just work through it.
Yeah.
So.
It sounds like you could be a mindset coach too.
Maybe. That kind of goes in hand with the breakaway coach part of it.
Yeah.
Rodeo is not just your athletic ability. It is not, it is mostly, when you get down the road, it is mostly mindset. It is what is in between your ears more than anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just listening to something that they were talking about Rainers, but somehow they got on to comparing some of these guys in the show pen to like 3-point shooters in the NBA. And if you're really a shooter, you're just going to keep taking your shot. Say you miss the last 6, well, the next one's going to go in. So you just got to keep taking your shot, I guess. Was the point behind all that, but
absolutely. Yeah, that's the other thing that, whenever things go really bad, you think about a time, and I'm sure you've got a time when you are literally like at your wit's end and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what, I don't know what's happening. This was literally where we were. Everything was going wrong. Like, I couldn't read my cattle. I was being televised. I just posted that I was doing a clinic. There were all these cows. These girls were getting outrun. I'm the last girl in the, pen to rope. And my horse takes a weird start. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm fixing to get outrun. And my calf barely, moves. It's under my horse. Because I'm like, oh, we're late. Bust out of there. And just, again, out of your control. But when you are in this position where you're like, I need to save money and not go, you have to seriously dig so deep within yourself to try to keep moving forward, because you can put yourself in a position that could end your career. You could put yourself into a mental break where it's just stagnant and you sit there and you don't move forward. And it's so easy to get there. What's not easy is getting out of it. And for me, I had a girl follow me, Cassie. She followed me down here, talked her into it, bless her heart. And that's a whole nother episode. But she found barrels and roped, and that became a whole thing, because apparently you can't buddy with yourself when you run barrels and you breakaway rope. So there were rodeos that she was up on a Thursday. And this seriously happened. This just happened. She was up Thursday in Alabama in the barrel racing, Sunday in Alabama in the breakaway roping, Friday and Saturday in Florida and Georgia. And so I was like, that's all you, girl. But she couldn't get things where she could, be together in the barrels and the breakaway. So it was a whole mess. But anyway, Sunday morning, we're in Montgomery, Alabama, and it is Sunday morning, we do this deal where we get our lawn chairs out, we sit at our trailers, and we would just map it out. Be like, listen, we're in a slump. We're in the trenches. We got to dig deep. We got to talk about this. We got to work through it. And so I'm sitting there, and I open up my notebook. She's got her notebook, and we're sitting there, and I have all these cards. I'm a big, like, flashcard kind of girl. And I've got all these Bible verses, and I'm just pulling Bible verses out. And then I'm looking at screenshots, and I'm like, I just read this. So we're talking about it. And I said to her, you know, can you think of your best run? Like, can you feel it? Can you visualize it? Can you see it? You know, where is that at in your mind? Like, can you run through that? Do you know what you were wearing? Do you know what color the cap was? Do you know how your horse felt? Like, and so we both had a moment, you know, where we were both like, absolutely. And so I said, let's kind of sit here and kind of meditate on that moment. And we did, and we thought about it, and we showed each other our videos, and we talked on it a little bit, and we went ahead, and that's the moment where we were both like, all right, well, we've got to have a moment here that's going to, you know, keep us moving. And so hers was Leap of Faith. So she wrote Leap of Faith on her arm, Leap of Faith. And mine was Let Go and Let God. Because we get so wrapped up in our daily tasks and wanting to do so good. We've put the time in, we've put preparation in, we've driven so many miles, we've put so much into this that, you know, you get to a point and there's so much weight that you can't perform because you're under all this pressure that you put on yourself. And so we sat there and we simplified it. And we said, let's look at these videos. Let's feel that moment. Let's have fun. Let's bring the fun back to this. Let's worry about what we can control and nothing else. And that's when, you know, you can go back and watch the Cowboy Channel, Montgomery, Alabama, on Sunday. She drew the cap that they were winning it on there, 2-1. She come out, she was 3-3, places in the rodeo. I'm right behind her, you know, and I'm amped. I'm like, I know what my cap is. They're 3-7 on this cap. Like, I know what I need to do. I need to rope him before he steps left. And my good friend Tanera, she roped him in 3-7. And, you know, this is a $10,000 added rodeo. So it's like, you got to go at the barrier. You know, there's girls that have been in the NFR that are literally up Sunday. We're like, we can't, there's no room for us to have error. And, you know, you can only do as good as what you can on what you drew. And so she had the one to win it. We knew that. I had one that was slower. I knew that. So we had game plans, and that's the other part of it is, you know, you set yourself up. You have a game plan, and again, you can only control what you can control. And I go out and I'm 2-6 on my calf. You know, I rope him and he kind of stops. But we did the best we could on Sunday on our calves, and it was televised, and we went out with a bang. And after that rodeo, she drove back to New Jersey. I drove back to South Georgia. And, you know, we left that moment feeling great. And it's because we had a plan and we executed. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. But, you know, I feel very strongly, you know, like biblically, iron sharpens iron. If you've got two people that come together and they really want to work on their skill and they want to work together, and you just humbly sit in your lawn chairs, you know, outside of your horse trailer, your notebooks, that you can put together a plan and you can turn things around. You really can. It's all about the mindset. So.
Yeah. No, I really like that, the iron sharpens iron thing. I feel like my boss Josh and I talk about that some, and I'm not near his level in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's good for him sometimes even just to see me work one and then talk through it with me, and that helps him get a better idea, or he'll see a hole in that horse, and then anytime I get to watch him work a cow or work a horse or whatever, I'm always learning stuff from him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but do you have any good stories from being on the road or a specific rodeo or anything? I mean, you've shared some already, but
yeah. Actually, I have a really, really great positive experience from Montgomery, Alabama. So it's just super fun because it's the last pro rodeo that I was at, and it was amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. So let me just paint this picture for you. I'm leaving Nashville, Georgia. Okay? I'm leaving Nashville, Georgia, and I'm on my way to Montgomery, Alabama. I'm not going to get to Montgomery, Alabama until it's like a time change. So it would be like 2 a.m. Like our time where we are now. It is 1 a.m. Georgia or 1 a.m. Alabama. So there is a legit phone number on the Pro Rodeo schedule, and it says call or text this number for stalls. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I've been to different places where they've got stalls, but I've never been to Montgomery, Alabama, where they literally treat you like you're their first child. So I text this number. I get no response. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm driving. And I'm thinking, I better call. I call the number. The guy answers, yes, ma'am, how are you? And I said, yes, sir, I'm going to be there in like 30 minutes. I've got 2 horses. I texted, but I didn't hear, so I want to call. He's like, oh, yes, ma'am, where are you coming from? Blah, 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 blah. He says, call me when you're 10 minutes out. I will meet you at the end of the road, the end of the dirt road. I'm in a Kubota. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning. Says, I will meet you in my Kubota. I will have the lights flashing. I'm like, okay. He says, baby, you will get lost if you don't find me. You will get lost. And I've had several people tell me, like, you don't do anything in Montgomery. You go to the arena, you don't leave the arena. Like, you get there, you stay there. You don't unhook, you don't go. Like, you stay. I'm like, oh, all right. So I get there. There he is in this Kubota, waving his arms, flashing lights. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I follow him all the way down this road, and I'm thinking, I don't even see an arena. I don't see a barn. I see nothing. I'm just following a chain link fence and this guy in a Kubota. So we get all the way up through these barns. I pull up between a bunch of barns, and he gets out. He says, how are you? How's your drive? And I'm like, oh, it's good. It's good. It's all good. All's good. It's like 4 different people come to my trailer, are unloading my horses for me, are carrying buckets, hay bags, feed, anything I needed. And so it gets better. We take the horses to the stalls. They're already completely bedded, like 3 big bags of shavings. Yes. Then they're filling my water buckets, taking the water buckets. My one horse, my mare, is just sucking the water down. And the guy's like, oh, wow, we're just going to have to keep filling this. And I'm thinking, you're literally filling my water bucket, carrying my hay, like everything. And so I said, well, I'm going to have to remember where my stalls are, and I'm going to have to come back and check my horse's water because she's drinking so much. And the man looks at me and he says, no, sweetheart, you need to get some sleep. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we got this. We got this. And I'm thinking, and I don't trust anybody with my horses ever. But in that moment, I felt in my soul that man had me. So I was like, yes, sir, I'm going to go to bed. So he takes me over. He's like, your horses are good. Until morning, we'll make sure they're full of water. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it then. So amazing. So we go. I get parked. I get out of the trailer. I get out of the truck. I get stuff set up in my trailer. I turn my hot water heater on and stuff. I'm going to get a shower. That's just, I'm not going to rodeo, not shower, and go to bed. I shower before bed. Like, got to have that. So I hear someone knocking on my door. It's 2 a.m. at this point. I hear someone knocking on my door. I'm like, oh, great. Something's wrong with my horses. That's my first thought. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, Lord, please no. So I call my friend Cassie because she's parked beside me. I'm like, you got to park me next to Cassie. And they're like, yes, ma'am, we got you. We got you. New Jersey friend. I'm like, yes, sir. So I park beside her. I call her. I'm like, Cass, are you knocking on my door? She's like, April, no. That's Mitch or Colt or I don't even know who it is. She's like, that's blah, blah, blah with your hot dog. I'm like, dude, what? My hot dog? She's like, yeah, the hospitality hot dogs. I'm like, what? So I have a 2 a.m. hot dog. He's knocking on her door saying, hey, I think she's asleep. And she's like, April, do you want You want mustard on your dog? And I'm like, what? It's 2 a.m., guys. She's like, we're going to leave it on your doorstep. I'm like, okay, cool. So I got not only my horses totally taken care of, but I got a 2 a.m. hot dog on my doorstep.
That
Yeah.
is wild.
Have you ever heard of anything like hospitality-wise like that?
No. I wish they
It's
would
a
do
little
that for
bit.
these cow horse shows, because unloading the
I'm telling
trailer
you,
and getting water set up and all that is a process.
you need to just come to Montgomery, Alabama next year. I will never miss that rodeo if I can. If I can help it, I will 1,000% go.
Yeah.
Because the next morning, I got out of my trailer and I hear the Kubota. I'm like, here comes this guy in the Kubota. This man is so nice. He comes around. He's like, hey, sweetie, go feed your horses. I'm like, is this real life? Seriously, is this real life? And so I fill my feed buckets and everything, and he drives me over. And I said, this is my first time, here. And he's like, well, baby, we're taking you for a tour. So they drive me like all through this whole area, and it's really nice. It's set up so cool. He drives me to the hospitality deal. He gets me coffee. They had breakfast. I'm like, this is insane. And then they have lunch provided, hospitality for all the contestants. I mean, set up. Why would you ever want an amateur rodeo ever again? Ever. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's insane. It really is. I've never felt better. And, to top it all off, for the past 3 weeks, I kept bumping into Sherry Servey. And, I mean, she is a staple. She is such a horsewoman. It's wild. And so, finally, her stalls were next to mine in Alabama. And so I'm getting my horses ready to go, to leave, to head back to Georgia. And I spoke to her and I was like, you know what? I'm just running into you everywhere. And she just kind of smiled and nodded her head. She's like, yeah, we have. And so it's just really cool to be at that level where you really, you go places and you really feel like somebody. And I feel very strongly that it allows you to compete at your highest level because you have backing without any, ties. You know what I mean? The committees are just so happy to have you there. And you just feel good about it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no. That for one is
Hot dogs at 2 a.m. on your doorstep.
yeah. That's wild.
I love it.
Yeah. I would not complain if they did that
I mean,
at these cow horse shows.
If something as simple as a hot dog can make you just feel so loved.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, any other good ones?
I have one from a long time ago. I helped a friend drive to Oklahoma City when they had the IFR in Oklahoma City before they moved it to Guthrie. And she had made the finals in the barrel racing, and so we got there and we went through the whole rodeo, everything went well. Rodeo was good. We were getting ready to leave. We were, figuring everything out. I flew from Pennsylvania to North Carolina, helped her drive from North Carolina to Oklahoma City. And so, this was, man, I don't even know. This was a while back. And anyway, there was a big storm coming through Arkansas. And so we were going to have to, it was like tornadoes and just awful storms. We're like, oh gosh, we really don't want to have to deal with that. So let's get up at 2 or 3 in the morning, fly past that storm, because we needed to get back so that I could catch a flight back home. So I was flying, she lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and so I was flying out of Charlotte. And so we get up, it's 2 or 3 a.m., and, we're in a hotel, and you know how, like, you could do the automatic start. She'd walk down the hallway and, like, look out the window and, like, automatic start her truck. and it was kind of cold. You know, Oklahoma is like weird during that time. It's either warm or cold or whatever. So it was really cold. She walked to the end, and she had most of her stuff packed in the truck. And I was like, I'll just put all mine in one bag for the most part. Like, I had some stuff in the truck, and then we'll just load it and go. Well, she come running back to the door, and you know, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and she's like, April, my truck's gone. I'm like, what do you mean your truck's gone? She's like, my truck's not there. And so I don't know why, but I walked down and I looked because I'm like, maybe she like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't believe it, you know? So we get down there and her truck's gone. Legit gone. And I'm like, we need to call the police. Your truck's gone. So we call the police. We're still trying to wake up and understand what's going on. We call the police. While we wait on the police to come, I go down to the front desk and I said, we need your surveillance camera. We need to see what was going on. They're like, no. I'm like, you're in on this, bud. You know, so like, it was bad. It was super sketch. Truck was stolen. They smashed the window out of her truck. We get in with the police officer. I'm in the back of the cop car, and I've never been in the back of a cop car and didn't realize how tight and small it was, and you like can't let yourself out. So we're in there, and I'm trying to like brainstorm, like, what can we do to find your truck? And so it's back when, you're probably considerably younger than me, but do you remember when they had like the OnStar?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd hit a button and like an actual person would like speak to you in the truck, and you know.
Yeah.
That was still what was going on. So I told her, I'm like, why don't we call Dodge, you know, and see like if they can find your location for the truck based off of, you know, your information. And so sure enough, that's how we found the truck. But that person had to ping the location of that truck and give it to the police officer. They wouldn't give it to us directly. And when their like manager came on, it was one of those moments where the police officer was going off duty, the manager for the OnStar was coming on, and they had like 2 minutes of exchange where they could cross paths or we were never going to get this done. And so by this time, it's like, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're like, well, I don't know how we're going to get any of this done. And so we find her truck. It's a mile away in like an apartment complex. They broke the window, the passenger back window out of the truck. They stole everything in the truck. Everything that we had in the truck gone, stripped. So there's just glass everywhere. The truck's not damaged other than the window. So we're just kind of like numb at this point. We're exhausted. We're fixing to start this drive, totally zonked. We had to get a new window put in. We had to try to vacuum the glass out. To this day, I think she was still finding glass in the truck, like bad, just really, really bad. We met her mom. We had to drive straight through. We met her mom on the side of the highway. She took me to the airport, and I had to run through the airport to get my flight home. It was awful. That was the most intense story. So when you asked about stories, that was the first one that came to my mind, and I was like, I am never going to amateur rodeo and try to make the IFR ever, because I don't know what I'll do with my vehicle. Like, I don't even know what I'll do. But since then, they've moved it to Guthrie, and I'm sure it's a way better setup. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's that.
Yeah, that's wild. I feel like I would have done the same thing, though. What do you mean the truck's gone? And walked out there and looked.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Terrible. Oh, yeah.
Well, do you have any advice if someone's listening to this and wants to get into Breakaway?
Yeah, just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Now, find somebody that can kind of get you in the right direction. Definitely start from the ground up. Don't go too fast. Take your time. Do it right. Oh, this is going to hurt some feelings. Do not learn from Team Roper. I hate that, but people think, as a breakaway roper, people think oh, well, this person rope, so they can teach me how to swing a rope. No, please no. Don't do that. Because what happens is, if you're a female and you don't want a team rope and you want a breakaway rope, you're going to have more habits to break from that team roping side of it rather than learning the fundamentals, the appropriate fundamentals from the beginning. And um, learn from as many people as you can. I feel like my personal style of teaching is I teach based off of an individual. I'm not going to tell you, hey, this is how it needs to be done, like XYZ. No. I will definitely work with each individual, because just because I like a certain kind of a rope doesn't mean it's going to feel right in your hands. So I'm not going to push a product just because I use it to someone. I will definitely work with each individual for their needs. So make sure that, if you get started with somebody and it's not working, it might not be a great fit. It's just like school. If you go to school, you have a certain teacher in mind that you remember or you recall that you worked very well with, and others you didn't. So don't think that it's not going to work just because of one person that you're trying to learn from. So
Yeah, I think that's awesome advice. And I like the just do it.
Nike, just do it.
Yeah. The first thought I had when you said that, though, was on TJ's when I asked him, he said just buy the damn horse. But, which his was about being a horseshoer, so I'm not sure where exactly that came from, but.
More business for him if you buy the horse.
Yeah. Maybe that was from a selfish place there, coming from him. But the last question that I really had, unless there's something that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask that you wish I would have, but it's one I started, I guess just in the last episode, started asking, but I like the question, and I'm going to try to ask everybody this one. What legacy do you want to leave?
I just really want people to feel like they can do anything they want to do. I want people to, if they come across me or meet me, I want them to leave feeling uplifted and encouraged to do whatever it is they want to do, whether that is breakaway roping or being a hula hoop champion. I don't care. I just want people to live their dreams and live fearlessly. And not only that, I would love to have the opportunity to, when people come and learn from me, I like to incorporate, God's word. And so I feel like as long as we, keep our gaze and keep our eyes on the Lord, and we're walking with purpose and His will and where He wants us to be, then we can't go wrong.
That's awesome. Well, I guess that's probably all I have. Like I said, unless there's something you wish I asked or something else that comes to mind that you want to share, but.
Goodness, I don't know. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I think it's been good. It's saying right on an hour, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good. Is that your
yeah,
your norm?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, good. You have anything else?
I saw you do hunt a little bit, and we end up talking about that a lot of times on here, but.
Yes, I do. I am really, really, really hoping that one of my friends comes through and I can get a turkey in Florida.
That would be sweet.
The Osceola would be the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a funny one. This is terrible, but it's so funny. She's gonna kick me. My friend Cassie that I was saying, my blonde friend Cassie, she's awesome. New Jersey, barrel racer, breakaway roper, love you, Cass. We were having dinner at my friend Kim's, and we're just, they're just now meeting. You know what I mean? It's her, it's Cassie, her dad, Kim, her whole family. We're sitting there, and she's like, April, what's that turkey you want to kill? What's that a turkey you want to kill in Florida? And I'm like, I'm really proud of you for remembering there's a specific kind of turkey. I said, what do you think it is? She's looking at me and she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, sound it out. What do you think it is? I'm telling you right now, I thought I was going to die when she said this. And she's going to freak out when it's on a podcast, but it's fine. She says, is it like an areola?
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, I'm like crying. I'm trying to eat pizza and be like holding together, and I'm crying. And I'm like, it's an Osceola. Areola is nipple, but it's not a titty turkey that I'm going for. It's an Osceola.
I mean, in her defense, it sounds kind of close, but
I was so proud of her for being that close. It was awesome.
yeah.
But no. So yeah, Osceola turkey, that's on the bucket list, but I really, really like to I like to hunt pheasants a lot with dogs. We have pointers. My friend trains pointers, and Bob, he has an arsenal of dogs. He is so cool. Coolest guy you'll ever meet. So kind, great dog trainer. My dad hunts. I mean, that's hunts and fishes. We go to Canada every year for a week for my birthday, and we fish private lakes in Canada. That's absolutely amazing. And then I just got a deer, actually, the first buck I've ever killed by myself the first day of rifle season. And shocker, I wasn't expecting to see a shooter buck the whole time I was out, and it just stepped out, and I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
there it is. I'm like, thank you, Rut. And so my dad, last week, I believe it was, picked up the antlers from Dana Pouse, the taxidermist. Do you know of him at all? He has horses. He's a great guy. You should definitely get him on your podcast. He's amazing. Talk about some taxidermy.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He's such a guy. Horseman, really cool guy. But my dad just picked up I did a European. He just picked that up from him since I've been gone forever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he'd be a cool one for sure. Really good guy. Horseman and taxidermist. Quite the twist.
Yeah. It sounds kind of perfect for the way a lot of these ones end up going, though, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I didn't rodeo, that would be a good question. If you weren't into horses, what would you be doing? That'd be a good question for your podcast.
Yeah.
And if I did not have any involvement in horses, which I don't know what I'd do with my life, like I don't think that would work out, but I would definitely hunt and fish all over the United States and Canada. For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Right on. I feel like I'm kind of in that same boat.
Yeah.
I still try to hunt some. I didn't get to get out a whole lot this is the least I've hunted ever this past year.
Really?
But yeah, but I got to hunt opening day of rifle back home, filled all my doe tags and my buck tag, so I was not complaining there. And then I got to go hunt ducks in Arkansas with some buddies from back home. So it wasn't great conditions when we were there, but we still killed ducks every day, so it was a good time.
I hear Arkansas is the place to hunt ducks, right?
Yep.
I've never even attempted to duck hunt.
Oh, I'd say if you like hunting pheasants, you'd probably like duck hunting. It's not quite the same, but you still get some good dog work if you're with someone with a good dog, and
that's important.
Yeah. I will say hunting over a good dog is hard to beat.
Oh, yeah.
Well, appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. It's been a year, but you finally made it happen.
Yep. I've been trying not to let the podcast thing die, but my schedule's ridiculous, so
you're
I'm sure you can relate. But
absolutely. It is. I mean, we were going to potentially start at 2, and I don't even know what 8:39.
Yeah, something like that.
It's all right.
But
it's all right.
No, I appreciate you being flexible and being willing to come on. So
absolutely, we almost had this happen at the beach.
Yeah.
No,
Instead,
thank
it's
you so much. I appreciate the podcast, and I wish you all the success with the horses, the hunting, and the podcast.
thank you. And same to you, minus the podcast, but I guess with your coaching.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
One last thing, I normally give whoever's on a chance to plug their social media and all that stuff, but totally blanked on that with April's. But if you want to follow along with her, she's April Phillips on Facebook and April A. Phillips on Instagram. So y'all can look that up, give her a follow. If you're interested in her coaching stuff that she talked about, she said you can just shoot her a DM on there and she'll get you hooked up. But with that, we'll catch y'all on the next one.